Welcome back. The Labor Department's OSHA, or Occupational Safety and Health Administration, issuing a fine to Smithfield Packaged Meats, saying the meatpacking plant failed to protect its employees from the coronavirus. This after 4 employees died and over 1,000 had contracted COVID-19 earlier this year. Labor Secretary Eugene Scalia joins us now for an exclusive interview. Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining us. Before we get into OSHA and Smithfield, I know you wanted to pay tribute today on 9/11 to the workers that sacrificed their lives on this day.
Well, Sarah, thank you. Good to be with you. And yes, it's a somber day. I think it's a day for reflection and prayer for Americans. Still, all these years later, many of us lost friends, family, and we also witnessed some great heroism by first responders. We actually had a number of people at the Labor Department, too, actually at OSHA, who helped in the days afterward. But thank you for allowing me to just take a moment to acknowledge what an important day this remains.
No, and it's important to never forget and to share these kind of thoughts and experiences. Let's talk about OSHA for a second and this fine for Smithfield. How did you arrive? It seems like a slap on the wrist, your fine. How do you put a price on human life like that?
Well, I don't think you do try to put a price on human life, Sarah. What we do is we have investigative processes that we follow. Those were followed by the career investigators in the field here. They actually conducted a very thorough investigation. We have other investigations ongoing. We've said from the start that we're going to have essentially a two-pronged approach toward COVID workplace safety. First, we've put out extensive guidance for businesses and employees to know how to stay safe. But second, we've said from the start that we do have the enforcement authorities that we need, and we will use them when employers fall short. The statute, the OSHA Act, sets what the penalties are, and we sought the maximum penalty here. What's actually more important in these OSHA cases, which I've handled for many years personally, both as a lawyer at the Labor Department and the private sector, what ends up being most important is the so-called abatement measures going forward to make sure that workers are kept safe. And we're seeking measures there to assure that those workers will be protected in the way that CDC and others have laid out going forward.
That said, Mr. Secretary, as Sarah said, $13,500, it's not an enormous fine. Will you look to side with the employer where possible? And ultimately, do you want more people going back to work, if at all possible?
Wilfred, I'm not sure I caught all the question. We certainly want workers returning to work. We want them returning to work safely, and we're confident that both can be done, both are being done in workplaces across the country. I've never seen American businesses as focused as they are now, and as they should be, on the safety of their workers. But we fully recognize some will fall short. We will investigate them, and we'll take action. And by the way, in circumstances where the breach is more willful, then there's an opportunity for stepped-up penalties. But the penalties that we assessed here were in line with the statutory maximum available.
I believe OSHA has only issued 5 fines related to COVID-19. Is that right? Even with so many schools and universities and businesses reopening and this pandemic continuing to spread, are you trying to add more people, gain more resources to do more?
We've conducted thousands of investigations, as I've said. I've never seen American businesses as focused on the health and safety of their workers as they are now. And we're making extraordinary efforts to assist them in that with the guidance that we've put out, that CDC have put out and the like. So it doesn't surprise me. It encourages me that we're not finding a large volume of violations, but we do have ongoing cases. I expect we will have more citations because, as we've said, we have the enforcement authorities that we need, and we'll use them. And I think people are seeing that. But the news here with the reopening is good news. We're seeing businesses reopening safely. We're seeing workers return to work. We had an extraordinary jobs report last week with unemployment dropping to 8.4%. That's a number that very, very few observers thought that we would hit this year or perhaps even next year. You know, in the Obama administration, it took 34 months to get unemployment under 8.5%. We've done it in 4 months. So we're reopening. We're reopening safely. But OSHA, as I said from the start, is a cop on the beat, and that is part of our strategy to reopen safely.